Could Erling Haaland actually break football this season? Because Haaland isn't just scoring again, he's looking unstoppable. 18. I repeat, 18 goals for club and country, and we're only in October. Something has clearly shifted at Man City, and it's making him more dangerous than ever. We'll be analysing how Haaland has rediscovered his killer instinct in front of goal, how Guardiola stripped Man City back to make Haaland as lethal as ever, and why the underlying data shows that Haaland might actually break football this season. Now, Haaland's goal scoring record was already insane. 36 Premier League goals in his debut season. That's the most goals scored in a season in Premier League history. But he might be about to smash that record to pieces. 9 goals in 7 games in the Premier League. And if we look at a few of his goals, we can see that he's mastered the art of goal scoring. Now, one of Haaland's trademark goals is his back post header. And he scored one of them against Monaco in the Champions League. You can see Foden makes that dart into the half space within the box. Haaland makes a lovely movement into the center of the 6-yard box in case there's a pullback, but it's what he does after that's so good. As soon as Foden looks like he's about to play that ball back into O'Reilly to get that cross into the box, he loves peeling off to the back post. That allows him to get a run on the defender, get on the blind side of the defender as well. And in this season, for Guardiola, which we'll come on to later, the fullbacks are crossing the ball into the box. But the most impressive thing about this header and impressive thing about Erling Haaland is he is so good at heading. The technique behind his heading ability is so strong. O'Reilly actually loops this ball in. There is not much pace on this cross, but the leap he gets, the physicality to just shrug the defender off, look how high he gets on this header. And he's got a hand in his back, pushing him into the ball, but the control of the header, facing one way to face the ball, and the guidance and the neck muscles. You can even see it from this still without even looking at the video, but the neck muscles to get power behind this ball and guide it into that bottom left-hand corner are so good. And he's mastered the art of scoring these back post headers. But what's also so impressive is how he improvises his finish under huge amounts of pressure. If you look at his goal against Napoli in the Champions League again, the ball gets played by Rodri into Foden, and it's in that position you love to see your attacking midfielder in, especially if you're Erling Haaland. He makes that lovely run as Foden opens out on the half turn, in between the 2 centre backs. Beautiful timing again. The acceleration is so strong, but it's that think ball from Foden that he's not expecting. It comes into him higher than he would expect at the time he receives the ball, but instead of making a first touch, he decides to loop it over the goalkeeper with his head. Just insane improvisation, lovely execution in these moments as well. Just guides it over the keeper, and it's just the kind of situation he's become so elite at. But although I'm analysing his goals today, the scary thing about Erling Haaland is that he can create just as much as he can score goals. Here he is against Spurs, picking up a loose ball in the midfield area, back to goal, and his first thought is drive forward. Using that right foot to spin, get into that space, and his close control at pace is so impressive. Paulinho catches up with him, gets goal side, he just nutmegs him, leaves him on the floor, and then as he gets into this situation here, you can see how difficult this pass is. Number 10s, pure number 10s, would be proud of the pass Haaland makes, but you've got a 6-foot plus striker making such a delicate pass here. Threading this ball in between Van der Ven's legs, on the left side of Romero, into Marmoush's run. Such a tricky through ball in a congested area, and it's perfectly weighted. Marmoush gets onto it, shoots it straight at the keeper, but this is the kind of assist that Haaland can get on his day. But going back to his goals, there are 3 goals he's scored this season that prove that he could be on for his best season yet. And the reason behind it could be Pep Guardiola. 2 of the goals in particular look very similar and prove that Guardiola is mixing up his tactics this season. And one of them was the goal against Brentford. You've got Guardiola on the ball, and Erling Haaland makes that run into the space. He's made it time and time again over the past 4 seasons at Man City. But what would usually happen is Guardiola opens up and you can see the 3 players on that left wing. It's an easy pass out to them, play that ball short, keep the ball moving, and retain possession of the ball. But what happens here is Guardiola goes direct. I looked through nearly every goal Erling Haaland has scored at Man City, and I couldn't find one like this. From the centre back, with options to play wide and playing a direct ball over the top for Haaland's run. And there's space to exploit. And it's the frustrating thing about Guardiola during his time at Man City is that all he had to do was adapt a little bit to get the best out of Erling Haaland's attributes. And in this case, Guardiola, beautiful way of pass into the channel. Haaland uses that physicality to bump the centre back underneath the ball, get on the right side of him, and get goal side. But this is what I love about Erling Haaland. In these situations in and around the box, he's slightly off balance from the previous physical duel, and that right-footed touch is perfect. Perfectly set up for that left foot finish, and he just drives it into that bottom left-hand corner. And again, this isn't a coincidence. Let's look at his goal against Monaco from the Champions League. Very similar situation here. Vardio on the ball, but in this case, there's far less space to work with. Monaco have got a back five, so there's more centre backs that are keeping an eye on Erling Haaland. But what I love about this goal is how Erling Haaland manufactures the space to run in behind. If you look at Guardiola, he's on the ball, and Erling Haaland is already scanning what's around him. And as the play progresses, he actually walks away from the back line. Walks away totally from that back line just to create a little couple yards of space. He keeps an eye on Dyer again, scanning a second time as Guardiola has the ball, just keeping an eye on what his surroundings are. And as that ball progresses, you can see Haaland moving away from that back line has drawn that back line forward. And this is the little subtle details of his striker craft. He doesn't just sit on the back line and dart in behind. He moves and manipulates the defensive line to do what he wants to do. O'Reilly plays a little 1-2 with Guardiola, and that helps move that Monaco backline back up. But that's exactly when Erling Haaland darts in behind. He's clearly onside, beautifully weighted pass by Guardiola, but it's the improvisation again on the finish. He knows he has to take this first time. Look how close the centre-back gets on that first touch. This lob is his first touch of the ball. He doesn't waste time. He doesn't waste touches when he gets into the penalty box. Beautiful execution on this lob. Very deft touch from such a big player. It's so hard to do this technique when running at his pace. And this is the type of situation that he's going to get more of with Man City going more direct. And speaking of going more direct, Man City have averaged 57% possession in the Premier League this season. They're used to averaging in the mid-60s in the past few seasons. Now, 7 games isn't the biggest sample size, but when I look deeper into the possession stats per game, you can see they're still averaging the mid-60s against the lesser teams. But against Arsenal, Man City averaged 34%, and against Man United, they averaged 46%. This is un-Pep Guardiola-like. And the reason for that is dropping deeper to be able to hit teams on the counter-attack. And you can see what I mean from the goal that Haaland scored against Arsenal this season, playing that ball through to Reinders, and then using that pace to get ahead of Gabriel. But this is the type of situation that dropping that little bit deeper and conceding possession, not pressing too high, has opened up. Erling Haaland with space to run into on the counter-attack. Such a useful weapon to have with Erling Haaland in your team. The amount of pace he has to get away from Gabriel is so impressive, so scary for Premier League centre-backs to really press high against this Man City team. And then the finish with his weaker right foot, beautifully composed beyond Raya. And these are the types of situations that Man City have now opened up by dropping a little bit deeper and not minding going a little bit more direct. And Pep Guardiola is now utilising one of Erling Haaland's biggest strengths, and that's his physicality. And it's not just the counter-attacking goals or going direct in behind from the centre-back. He's also going direct from goal kicks. You saw that in the game against Arsenal, setting up aerial duels for Erling Haaland against the likes of Saliba and Gabriel and getting Man City up the pitch rather than playing traditionally short as Guardiola likes to do. You got fullbacks being a bit more traditional, not only inverting or underlapping into the box, but getting around the winger, overlapping and getting crosses into the box. Shout out to O'Reilly, who's having a great season so far. And Pep Guardiola is finding different ways to assist Erling Haaland without the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, who's assisted Erling Haaland the most during his Man City career. And it's working, because the underlying data shows this could be a historic year for Erling Haaland. And if we look at the XG map from this season, all but one of his shots occur in the penalty area. And they're high quality shots. You can see that from the size of those little bubbles within the box. But one of the things that I want to draw out is his goals per shot. 0.31. That means 1 in every 3 shots is a goal. Do you know how insane that is? Just ruthless efficiency from Erling Haaland this season. And if we look even deeper into the underlying data, we can see this could actually be sustainable throughout the season. If we compare that first season at Man City with this year, slightly smaller sample size with only 7 games, you can see he's up on nearly every shooting metric. The shots on target percentage, shots per 90, the goals per shot that we spoke about earlier. One of the things that I want to point out is the distance he's taken these shots. It's the shortest distance to goal that he's had during his Man City career. He's becoming ruthlessly efficient in getting into the best positions closer to goal to score these goals. And earlier I spoke about 1 in every 3 shots turning into a goal, but it becomes even more efficient when his shot is on target. 2 of every 3 shots are turning into a goal. It's madness. I don't think I've ever seen this in the Premier League before. And if we look at his non-penalty XG, it's the highest he's ever recorded so far during his time at Man City, and even throughout his whole career so far. He's still only 25 years old, entering his prime, and Guardiola is adapting to get the best out of Erling Haaland. And this could be one of the most historic goal-scoring seasons we've ever seen. And if Erling Haaland is thriving, Florian Wirtz isn't. Check out my analysis up here as to why he might be struggling and how Liverpool and Arne Slot can fix it.